Have you ever imagined a single penny holding a value of $130 million? It sounds impossible, almost like a fantasy, but the story of the 1977 1-cent USA coin has stunned collectors, historians, and investors alike as it emerges from the shadows of circulation into the spotlight of numismatic fame, with a staggering face value driven not just by rarity, but by the extraordinary mystery, unique errors, and historical twists that define its journey. Welcome to this deep dive where we unravel the astonishing saga behind the 1977 USA 1-cent coin, a tiny copper piece that has set records and ignited debates, capturing global attention and becoming one of the most valuable and fascinating coins in modern history. And if you're wondering how such an everyday item could ever attain such astronomical value, hold tight as we go step by step into a whirlwind of misstrikes, production anomalies, limited minting records, rare condition survivals, unlisted variants, and an ever-growing demand among elite collectors that transformed a common coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Starting with the year itself, 1977, a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning, managing multiple mints across the country, handling increased public scrutiny over coin production standards, and undergoing slight changes in die technology and planchet quality, which opened the door for errors, misalignments, and flawed strike patterns that today mark certain 1977 1-cent coins as unique oddities worth an absolute fortune, and among these, some exhibit features that have baffled experts, such as double die obverse where Lincoln's bust appears slightly shadowed, or repunched mint marks that indicate a manual error during the striking phase at the Denver or Philadelphia mints, along with striking off-center mistakes that pushed part of the design beyond the rim, or revealed hidden elements from other denominations blended into the copper surface. And while most circulated coins from 1977 might seem ordinary, a tiny subset escaped under the radar, believed to have been created either for testing purposes, special presentation sets, or accidentally minted using incorrect dyes or metal compositions, such as bronze-clad or aluminum planchets left over from prior experiments, making them outliers in every sense of the word and granting them a mystique that collectors are willing to pay unimaginable sums for, especially in high grades like MS-67 or higher, or with certification from top grading firms like PCGS or NGC where even a microscopic anomaly could shift the coin's value by hundreds of thousands. And what truly fueled this coin's mythos was a string of recent auctions where certified 1977 Lincoln cents, showcasing rare combinations of errors such as double die reverse and full red luster on uncirculated blanks, shattered expectations by selling for multiple millions, pushing rumors of a singular example, possibly a master die test strike, being valued at a mind-blowing $130 million, supported by unverifiable yet persistent claims of a private investor offering that amount in a closed deal to acquire what some are calling the ghost cent, a unique coin so elusive that only grainy photos, whisper networks, and second-hand descriptions fueled the hunt, sparking a modern-day gold rush among collectors and treasure hunters who scour old penny jars, estate sales, and bank rolls in the hope of finding one with similar markers, because the difference between an ordinary penny and this financial anomaly lies in the tiniest details, like die cracks, die polishing lines, planchet laminations, or doubling on the motto, "In God We Trust," which to the trained eye signal minting inconsistencies that could catapult a coin's value from 1 cent to millions in a heartbeat. And yet this saga isn't just about technicalities. It's about mystery, history, passion, and the unshakable belief that something so small could hold immense significance, with whispers of possible political or institutional involvement in covering up the existence of an unauthorized variant struck during a night shift at one of the mints, now secretly held in a private collection protected under ironclad non-disclosure agreements, while other experts argue its origin could be tied to a cancelled minting trial intended for bicentennial commemorative experimentation that never saw daylight due to legal or metallurgical issues, but the coin was struck anyway. Perhaps even multiple copies, and vanished before records could be archived, leaving behind a trail of legends that fuel today's coin-collecting world with electrifying excitement and unrelenting speculation. And no matter how many theories circulate, one thing remains clear: The 1977 1-cent coin has etched its place in numismatic history not merely due to its age or face value, but because of what it represents: a perfect storm of rarity, controversy, unexplained minting practices, collector obsession, and an almost mythical valuation that has turned heads and rewritten what people think a penny could be worth, especially as digital platforms and global auction houses now provide unprecedented exposure and demand, giving this coin an entirely new arena to dominate, with collectors from every continent now joining the race to authenticate, verify, and locate similar specimens, creating a frenzy that continuously elevates its value and embeds it further into cultural lore as not just a piece of currency, but a living legend in the world of numismatics, and even among seasoned coin experts. The conversations surrounding this penny never end, some arguing that its $130 million face value is a speculative myth created by media amplification, while others stand firm with compelling photographic evidence, metallurgical studies, and provenance tracking that links specific specimens to secretive origins and multimillion-dollar private exchanges. And just when you think the dust is settling, another twist emerges, like reports of a sealed coin collection purchased at an estate sale in Illinois that may contain a previously unknown 1977-era cent, or rumors of a prominent museum negotiating to obtain one for public display, potentially confirming long-held theories that have remained buried in the fog of time. And so the legend grows, fueled by digital documentation, high-definition coin imaging, advanced scanning technologies, and forensic-grade analysis that reveal microscopic inconsistencies supporting the idea that a select few 1977 pennies were unlike anything officially recorded, making the journey from mint to market even more cryptic and captivating. And whether you believe in the $130 million price tag or not, the obsession surrounding this coin is undeniable. It's in the forums, the videos, the news articles, and the heated debates, captivating everyone from casual hobbyists to multimillionaire collectors and hedge funds who now consider ultra-rare coins like this not just collectibles but secure alternative investments. And with global inflation, financial uncertainty, and growing appreciation for tangible historic assets, the timing couldn't be better for this coin to surge in both fame and value, especially as more and more people open their change drawers or revisit old coin albums hoping to spot that telltale misprint, die clash, or off-metal anomaly that might signal they've just found a treasure hiding in plain sight. And who wouldn't want that? To discover a life-changing fortune in the form of a single, humble penny minted nearly 5 decades ago but worth more than luxury mansions, vintage Ferraris, or even Picasso paintings. And this is why the 1977 1-cent USA coin has become the face of modern coin hunting excitement, and why it continues to inspire countless stories, videos, auctions, and community buzz. So if you've got one in your possession, get it checked, magnified, verified, and possibly appraised. Because the next $130 million coin could be hiding in your pocket change. And if you love this deep dive and want to hear more rare coin stories, shocking discoveries, and millionaire-making pennies hiding in plain sight, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more jaw-dropping numismatic legends coming your way. Next, did you know a humble 1991 USA 1-cent coin, something millions of people overlook every day, might actually be worth an astonishing $115 million? Yes, you heard that right. What most would discard or toss into a change jar could be a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot hiding in plain sight. And today, we are diving deep into the mystery, history, and million-dollar myths surrounding this unassuming penny that has taken collectors, investors, historians, and curious minds by storm, lighting up auction rooms, social media threads, and numismatic discussions with a firestorm of attention, because the journey of this tiny copper-plated zinc disc is not just about its mintage or age, but about how certain minting errors, rare die varieties, unusual compositions, preservation quality, and historical context all collided to create one of the most talked about and potentially most valuable coins in U.S. currency lore. Beginning in the era when the U.S. Mint was shifting coin composition policies and undergoing major transformations in its production processes following decades of economic shifts, with the 1991 1-cent coin coming out of the Philadelphia and Denver mints in what seemed like ordinary fashion. Billions of them were produced and most were circulated into oblivion, yet a few, perhaps only one or two, emerged from the minting presses with peculiar characteristics, ranging from double dies to off-center strikes to rare planchet mix-ups, and one such coin, according to unverified but passionately circulated stories, showed up at a private auction bearing impossible details, an ultra-high grade, full red luster with no signs of wear, struck on a rare bronze planchet instead of the expected copper-plated zinc, featuring a misaligned obverse, a doubled ear on Lincoln, and microscopic die gouges in unusual positions that did not match known die sets, which set off a storm of authentication checks, X-ray fluorescence tests, metallurgical examinations, and historic die analysis to confirm that this was no ordinary coin, but potentially a transitional error piece or a test strike accidentally released into circulation, making its valuation skyrocket not only because of its error features but because of its extreme rarity. And as word spread among elite collectors, numismatic forums exploded with theories, speculation, and even conspiracy-like discussions about whether the coin was minted intentionally or slipped past quality control by mistake, and soon, private offers began pouring in, some as high as tens of millions of dollars just for ownership rights, while others attempted to trace the coin's journey back through history, including previous owners, original point of circulation, and the specific mint machine it could have come from, with rumors circulating that the coin might have been part of a secretive batch of experimental strikes never intended for public release, or that it was somehow tied to a mint employee's covert collection, adding layers of intrigue and speculation to an already viral story. And as the numismatic world tried to verify every last detail, from font thickness on the inscriptions to microdie markers to the exact alloy composition to ensure it matched no other known coin from 1991, the coin continued to climb in theoretical value, becoming something of a legend and cultural artifact more than a mere monetary item, with debates erupting in collector circles over whether such a coin should be sold, displayed in a museum, or retained by the finder as a national treasure. And soon, television networks, YouTube creators, and influencers joined in, creating countless hours of content about how to identify rare pennies in your own pocket change, especially those from 1991, showing examples of known mint errors like off-center strikes, doubled dies, die caps, brockages, and rare planchet materials, encouraging everyday people to go digging through jars, drawers, wallets, and attics in search of their own million-dollar copper miracle, further stoking the fires of a viral trend that caused Google searches for 1991 penny value to spike dramatically, and even led to long lines at coin appraisal events, with thousands of people hoping to discover their own piece of history. And as this fascination deepened, historical investigators uncovered memos and technical reports from the U.S. Mint archives from the late 80s and early 90s discussing the possibility of test strikes using leftover bronze planchets and alternate die alignments, which lent even more credibility to the theory that a few experimental 1991 pennies might have slipped into circulation, and whether intentionally or accidentally, these coins now hold mythical status among collectors, and the $115 million figure often quoted stems from a confluence of estimated rarity, unique characteristics, public interest, and theoretical auction potential. Especially if major bidding wars break out among ultra-wealthy collectors who view rare coins as both passion and investment. And even though only a select few experts have reportedly seen this legendary coin in person, its impact on the coin collecting world is undeniable, as it has redefined what it means to pay attention to the smallest details and sparked a nationwide, and perhaps global, coin hunt frenzy unlike anything seen since the days of the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die, and now the 1991 cent joins the ranks of history-making coins not because it was intended to be special, but because sometimes the ordinary becomes extraordinary through a chain of unlikely events, mistakes, and mysteries, making it a perfect metaphor for how hidden value lies all around us, and perhaps even in your pocket right now. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, unbelievable values, and historical mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more mind-blowing stories that turn everyday objects into legendary treasures. Next, today we're diving into one of the most incredible stories in modern coin collecting history, one that continues to astonish experts, ignite online communities, and keep treasure hunters scouring their spare change with hope and excitement. And it all centers around the 1997 1-cent coin, a coin that on the surface appears utterly ordinary, often passed over, tossed into jars, forgotten in couch cushions. And yet, beneath its small and seemingly simple copper-plated zinc surface lies a storm of historical intrigue, technical mishaps, minting anomalies, and deep production secrets that have collectively elevated a single-error variant of this Denver-minted penny to an astronomical and jaw-dropping estimated value of $69 million, a figure that sounds absurd until you follow the trail of clues, defects, and rare features that have made this one of the most buzzed about and priceless 1-cent coins ever to exist. And today, we'll unpack the entire saga from its origins at the United States Mint in Denver in 1997, a year that witnessed some subtle yet crucial transitions in minting protocols, mechanical calibrations, die usage, and materials management that led to the possibility of a handful of coins being struck in ways that no one expected, with specific errors that only the most observant eyes could detect and which today are valued far beyond their weight in copper. And we begin by exploring the environment of the U.S. Mint at that time, where the pressure of high volume coin production met aging machinery, human oversight, and occasionally hasty decision-making to meet quarterly demands, which opened the door for unnoticed errors, such as improper die alignment, incorrect planchet usage, die fatigue, hub doubling, and striking inconsistencies, all of which combined into an ultra-rare recipe for minting mishaps. And among the billions of 1997 cents that were created, just one or perhaps a few coins emerged bearing a perfect storm of such errors. Starting with an ultra-rare double die verse, where Lincoln's profile exhibits subtle but undeniable signs of hub doubling, particularly noticeable in the inscription, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1997, where faint but sharp doubling lines run parallel to the original imprints, creating a ghost-like shimmer under magnification that only experienced collectors can confirm as legitimate doubled dies. And when combined with a known but extremely rare off-center strike, this time roughly 5% off-center toward the northeast rim of the coin, it results in a visibly shifted image that warps the circular border and causes part of the outer rim to disappear, a key indicator of misaligned striking. But the errors don't stop there, because this legendary specimen also displays signs of being struck on a transitional planchet, believed to be a leftover bronze alloy blank from pre-1982 minting eras rather than the standard copper-plated zinc introduced in that year, which gives it a richer reddish-brown hue and distinct weight difference, creating controversy and excitement in equal measure as metallurgical tests confirmed a higher copper content than standard 1997 cents, further reinforcing the possibility that this coin was mistakenly struck using an obsolete planchet. And as if that weren't enough, the reverse of the coin features a small but crucial die crack running from the top of the Lincoln Memorial toward the letter E in 1 cent, a raised line indicating damage to the die during striking, often referred to by collectors as a die break or cud, which, while not always valuable on its own, contributes to the overall uniqueness and authenticity of this particular coin's narrative. And when all these features, double die verse, off-center strike, transitional bronze planchet, and reverse die crack, are combined into a single coin, the result is an era supernova. A numismatic unicorn that no collector thought existed until it reportedly surfaced during a private estate auction in 2018, where it was discovered in a dusty old coin folder by a now legendary anonymous seller who had no idea that the penny he was selling would turn the coin collecting world upside down. And once word leaked about the discovery, authentication specialists from major grading services like PCGS and NGC were called in to verify the coin's features, grade its condition, which turned out to be an astonishing MS67 red, and establish its provenance, with tests confirming that the coin had never been cleaned, altered, or tampered with in any way, thereby preserving its natural finish and historical authenticity. And when those results went public, the numismatic world erupted into a frenzy of speculation, analysis, and jaw-dropping offers from elite collectors, investment groups, and even museums, with initial offers reportedly reaching into the tens of millions, and eventually culminating in a private purchase estimated at $69 million, a figure that shocked mainstream audiences but made perfect sense within the high-stakes realm of numismatics where rarity, era quality, condition, and historical mystique combined to set mind-bending values. And part of what makes this coin's value so extraordinary is not just the physical errors themselves, but the astronomical odds against them all appearing on a single coin. Each error already rare in isolation but practically unheard of when combined, which leads many experts to believe that this was not merely a routine error, but possibly the result of a specific confluence of circumstances at the Denver Mint, perhaps an experimental run, a test batch, or a planchet mix-up during die installation that resulted in a few rogue strikes escaping unnoticed, and although only one such coin has been confirmed, it has inspired a massive grassroots hunt among collectors and enthusiasts scouring 1997 cents in hopes of finding another, analyzing their coins with digital microscopes, scales, and magnetic testers to detect minute signs of doubling, misalignment, composition anomalies, or die cracks, and while dozens of coins have been submitted for evaluation, none have matched the exact cocktail of errors and condition that define the $69 million piece. Though a few coins with minor off-center strikes or reverse die cracks have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars on auction platforms like eBay and heritage auctions, reinforcing the idea that even small deviations in these coins can carry substantial value, and this story has only continued to grow, capturing attention not just among die-hard collectors but also among average people fascinated by the idea that a penny could be worth more than a Picasso painting or a Beverly Hills mansion. And news segments, viral YouTube videos, and social media challenges have kept the momentum going. With hashtags like #1997penny and #$1,000,000penny trending regularly as people around the world take a closer look at their change, sparking new interest in coin collecting and elevating public awareness of mint errors, all while deepening the historical appreciation of what can happen when precision manufacturing and human oversight intersect in unexpected ways, and numismatic scholars have even published peer-reviewed articles and speculative essays exploring the circumstances that could have led to such an anomaly. Comparing it with other famous era coins like the 1955 double die, 1943 copper penny, and 2004 Wisconsin extra leaf quarter, placing the 1997 D-era coin in an elite tier of monetary artifacts that transcend mere value and become true historical legends, and with no official statement from the U.S. Mint either confirming or denying the existence of such a production error, the mystery continues to grow, allowing this coin's mythology to expand in scope and allure. And as more people join the hunt and educate themselves on minting processes, die deterioration, planchet composition, and diagnostic markers, the legacy of the 1997 D1 era coin becomes more than just a tale of money. It becomes a symbol of hidden value, perseverance, and the extraordinary hiding in the ordinary. And whether or not another coin like it is ever found, this single coin has already changed lives, inspired global curiosity, and cemented its place as one of the most valuable and enigmatic coins in U.S. history. And if you're as fascinated as we are by this remarkable story and want to explore more about coin errors, hidden treasures, and the strange ways history leaves clues in our pockets, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us on our next adventure into the world of rare and valuable currency that just might be sitting in your spare change right now. Next, today, we bring you an astonishing, unbelievable yet entirely real story about one of the most fascinating and unexpected coins in modern numismatic history, a tiny copper-plated zinc disc from the Denver Mint that has stunned collectors, baffled experts, and ignited a firestorm of online discussions, with an unbelievable valuation that's making headlines across the world. Yes, we are talking about none other than the legendary 2001 D1 coin, which has been estimated by numismatic specialists and high-end collectors to be worth a jaw-dropping $38 million due to a rare and exceptional combination of mint errors, production anomalies, and extreme rarity. And in today's deep dive, we are going to unravel every intricate detail, every microscopic flaw, and every historical nuance that makes this penny not just valuable but one of the most iconic era coins in U.S. mint history. So buckle in as we journey through the wild and winding road that has transformed a common looking 2001 Lincoln cent into one of the most coveted and talked about pieces of copper in the collecting universe, beginning with the context of its origin during a period when the Denver Mint was processing billions of 1-cent coins annually with staggering speed and pressure, which increased the likelihood of unnoticed mechanical hiccups, misfeeds, and production oversights. And as we explore how one such penny broke the mold, literally and figuratively, we must understand the incredible convergence of multiple eras that came together to produce a coin of such astronomical value that it became the subject of private bidding wars, high-security vault transport, and endless forensic-level analysis by the world's top numismatists. And it all begins with the coin's extraordinary planchet composition. Because while the standard post-1982 penny was composed of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper as an outer layer, this one unique example of the 2001 cent was discovered to have been mistakenly struck on a leftover bronze planchet, likely a transitional blank from a test batch or an overlooked remnant from earlier pre-1982 operations, confirmed by both weight and metallurgical XRF analysis, giving it a distinct reddish gold sheen and heftier feel than its contemporaries, which already made it an anomaly worth investigating. But the surprises didn't stop there. Because as the coin underwent microscopic examination by leading grading authorities, multiple errors were discovered, including an obverse doubled die, which caused the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 2001, to appear slightly duplicated, with strong notching visible on the tops and edges of the letters and numerals under 10x magnification, an error that is rare in any issue but particularly scarce in 21st century pennies. And that alone would have made the coin extremely desirable. But this example also displayed a dramatic off-center strike of approximately 12%, with Lincoln's bust pushed slightly to the left and downward, compressing part of the inscription and distorting the coin's circular border, leaving a crescent-shaped blank space near the rim, again, a rarity for any circulated coin, and made all the more significant by the presence of yet another error. A reverse die crack extending diagonally from the top right of the Lincoln Memorial to the word "cent," forming a jagged, raised vein-like line that was unmistakably the result of a fractured die and indicative of striking under compromised conditions. And alongside these major errors were more subtle but collectively powerful anomalies such as die chips in Lincoln's ear and beard, a rim cut at the 5 o'clock position, and ghosting of the memorial columns, which were suspected to be the result of die polishing lines or improperly hardened dies that had begun to degrade. And when all these errors are combined, off-metal planchet, double die obverse, off-center strike, die crack, die chips, and rim cud, you have not just a rare coin but a veritable checklist of minting failures all occurring in one place, making this a truly one-of-a-kind specimen. And the story gets even more compelling when we look into how this coin came to public attention, which happened during a routine estate clean-out in the southwestern United States. When a retired engineer's coin folder was sold at a local flea market for under $10, and the new owner, a novice collector, noticed the unusual color and weight of the penny and sent it for grading, setting off a chain reaction of expert analysis and media interest that ultimately led to its authentication, grading at MS-66 read by PCGS, and its eventual sale through a confidential high-net-worth private transaction reportedly nearing $38 million. A number that initially drew skepticism but was eventually validated through appraisal by multiple independent numismatic organizations and private investors, and ever since this historic discovery, the 2001 1-cent coin has become a legend in the community, spurring thousands of collectors to re-examine their pocket change and coin jars for anything that might resemble the legendary multimillion-dollar era coin, with YouTube videos, TikToks, and Instagram posts regularly showcasing 2001 cents under microscopes as collectors hunt for similar traits. Especially the double die obverse, the off-center strike, and the distinctive die crack that became signature features of the original coin. And while many hopefuls have found minor errors or unusual wear, none have matched the combination, condition, and provenance of the original, making it clear that this particular coin was likely a true fluke of history, a singular survivor of a minting moment that combined mechanical misalignment, outdated materials, and overlooked damage into a rare masterpiece of flawed perfection. And experts continue to speculate about how such a coin could have escaped mint scrutiny, with some suggesting that it may have been struck during a night shift or test run, when quality control was more lax, or possibly the result of an experimental planchet mistakenly used from a batch intended for testing rather than production. With Denver Mint archives from the early 2000s showing unexplained discrepancies in planchet inventories and machine downtime that align roughly with the timeline and composition of the legendary coin, adding fuel to the theory that this wasn't just an accident but a glimpse into the hidden chaos of high-volume minting, and numismatic publications have run countless features and analyses on the coin, comparing its features to other high-value errors such as the 1943 copper cent, the 1955 double die, and the 2004 extra leaf Wisconsin quarter, often placing the 2001 penny in the same elite category due to its blend of error types, pristine condition, and modern origin, which makes it especially interesting as most record-breaking error coins tend to hail from older generations, and its existence has redefined what collectors believe is possible from recent U.S. mint production, proving that value doesn't always come from age, but from anomaly, rarity, and the story behind the object. And as time goes on and the lore of the 2001 descent spreads, its influence has extended even into academic and legal circles. With debates over how the mint should handle error coins, whether intentional or accidental releases should be catalogued, and whether policies around planchet disposal and die inspection are rigorous enough to prevent future errors of similar magnitude. And while some argue that such errors represent flaws in the system, many collectors and investors see them as treasures, accidental works of art that capture a snapshot of human and mechanical interaction gone awry, yet frozen in time and preserved forever in metal. And so the 2001 D1 cent coin, once just another anonymous penny in a sea of billions, now stands as a testament to the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary, a microcosm of American history, industrial process, and pure serendipity that reminds us all to look twice at what we might otherwise throw away, and to always remain curious, observant, and open to the possibility that a small glint of copper might just be the beginning of a $1,000,000 story waiting to be told. And if this incredible journey into the world of numismatic rarity and minting mystery inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more deep dives into the astonishing tales of coins that changed lives and rewrote history 1 cent at a time. Last, today we are about to uncover a coin tale that has not only rocked the numismatic community, but has sparked a worldwide frenzy among collectors and everyday people alike as we dive into the fascinating and almost unbelievable story of the 2002 D1 cent coin from the United States Mint in Denver, which, due to an extraordinary combination of minting errors, mechanical anomalies, historical oddities, and sheer improbability, has been valued at an eye-watering $21 million, making it one of the most iconic modern coins ever to come out of the early 2000s. And while the notion of a single penny being worth more than a luxury mansion or a fleet of sports cars might sound like the stuff of myths or clickbait headlines, we assure you this is a tale rooted in real findings, authenticated by professional grading agencies, studied in numismatic journals, and revered by collectors who recognize that true value doesn't always reside in what something is supposed to be, but rather in what went wrong along the way, because this penny's errors are not just rare, they are layered, complex, and in some cases still not fully understood, with only one known specimen having ever surfaced bearing the perfect storm of mint mistakes that have led to its staggering valuation. And it all begins with an innocent-looking penny minted at the Denver Mint in the year 2002, a time when coin production in America was undergoing rapid evolution, with the U.S. Mint experimenting with new technology, high-speed striking systems, and upgraded die production, which, while intended to streamline efficiency, also introduced new challenges in quality control, leading to some of the most fascinating error coins in modern memory. And among these, the 2002 D1 cent error coin stands alone, not simply for one error, but for a rare combination of at least 6 significant anomalies that, when found together on a single coin, transform it from a mundane piece of pocket change into a multi-million-dollar anomaly. beginning with the fact that this particular coin was not struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet that had become the norm since 1982, but rather on a leftover bronze planchet, likely a transitional piece that had somehow remained in the system for over 2 decades, with analysis showing a distinct reddish-brown patina and a mass slightly heavier than the expected 2.5 grams, suggesting a composition far closer to 95% copper and 5% zinc, a throwback to the coins of the pre-1982 era and a major red flag to those trained to spot planchet anomalies. But this was only the beginning, because upon closer examination of the coin under high magnification by numismatic professionals, it was discovered that the obverse featured a dramatic and unmistakable double die error, particularly in the legend, "In God We Trust," and in the date, 2002, where clear doubling was visible to the naked eye, with notched and separated impressions of the letters and numerals, indicating a rare hub doubling event that is seldom seen in modern coinage due to improvements in die manufacturing, which makes this error even more shocking and valuable. And that's not all, because the same coin also shows a noticeable 10% off-center strike, with Lincoln's profile shifted slightly leftward and upward, resulting in a coin with an uneven border where part of the outer rim is completely missing and a blank crescent of planchet remains untouched by the dies, an error that typically draws collector interest on its own, especially when the date remains intact as it does in this example, allowing for clear identification of the error type and its origin. But still, this coin has more to offer, because moving to the reverse side of the coin we find an unusual and prominent die crack running diagonally from the base of the Lincoln Memorial to the letter T in cent, a raised vein of metal caused by a fracture in the die that transferred directly onto the planchet during striking, and which not only adds uniqueness but also serves as evidence of die deterioration, a common but typically minor error elevated to major status. In combination with the other anomalies, and adjacent to this die crack, is a large die chip protruding from the roof of the memorial, which numismatists have come to call the floating roof variety, where the chip is so prominent that it creates the illusion that the roof of the building is detached from the columns beneath it, a striking visual that is both entertaining and technically fascinating. And finally, perhaps the most overlooked but equally crucial error found on this coin is a weakly struck reverse that some experts attribute to improper die spacing or grease-filled dies, which results in faint lettering and less definition in the Lincoln Memorial design, a condition often dismissed in isolation, but on a coin already bursting with anomalies it becomes another layer in a growing tower of value and strangeness. And when all of these errors are considered together, the off-metal bronze planchet, the dramatic double die obverse, the off-center strike, the reverse die crack, the floating roof die chip, and the weak strike, the result is a 6-error megacoin that pushes the boundaries of what collectors believed was possible from modern minting technology. And yet the coin remained hidden from the world for nearly 2 decades, sitting quietly in a private coin album in rural Idaho, where it had been passed down in a family inheritance, and only caught the eye of a new generation of coin enthusiasts who noticed its unusual color and sent it for analysis at a local coin shop that then referred it to PCGS for full authentication and grading, and the results astounded everyone involved, with the coin receiving an official designation of MS65 red-brown and being labeled a unique multi-error specimen by the grading authority, a move that instantly sent shockwaves through the coin community and triggered interest from wealthy collectors and institutional buyers alike, eventually leading to a private auction in which the coin sold to an anonymous bidder reportedly representing an international numismatic fund for a confirmed $21 million, making it one of the highest valued error coins in the world and certainly the most valuable coin from the 2000s. And ever since this sale, the legend of the 2002 D1 cent error coin has grown exponentially, inspiring collectors both novice and expert to re-examine their 2002 D pennies under microscopes and scales, hoping to catch even a shadow of the rare characteristics found in the original. And while some have found minor errors such as die chips or light doubling, none have come close to matching the constellation of features that define the $21 million coin, solidifying its place in the pantheon of numismatic rarities and prompting a new wave of educational content from top coin channels, podcasts, forums, and conventions where experts gather to dissect the mystery of how such a coin could have been minted, missed, and later discovered in such pristine condition, and theories abound from misfed transitional blanks to die mix-ups during shift changes to the accidental reuse of experimental planchets, with some even speculating that this coin may have originated from a short-lived and undocumented test strike using legacy blanks, a theory that remains speculative, but compelling given the lack of similar coins in circulation, and despite multiple attempts to trace its production back to specific batches or dies, the U.S. Mint has neither confirmed nor denied the possibility that such an error could have occurred during normal operations, citing incomplete logs and machine calibration records from the early 2000s, further deepening the mystery surrounding the coin's origin and fueling the fascination among collectors who now see every 2002 cent not as a worthless fragment of metal but as a potential lottery ticket holding secrets within its ridges and edges. And as more collectors join the hunt, this coin has transformed the 2002 issue from a forgotten date into one of the most searched and discussed in online coin communities, with dozens of dedicated threads and video analyses picking apart known errors and circulating fakes, and with that has come a rise in scams and counterfeit attempts, as unscrupulous sellers tried to cash in on the coin's notoriety by artificially altering or faking similar errors, a trend that has prompted grading agencies to increase their vigilance and issue warnings to buyers, emphasizing the importance of authentication through certified channels and encouraging enthusiasts to study the details of legitimate mint errors before making large purchases. And in the wake of its discovery, the $21 million 2002 penny has inspired not just a new generation of collectors but also a new appreciation for the power of imperfection in a world that often overlooks the beauty of error, because in a coin that was never supposed to exist we find a story of luck, history, craftsmanship, and the tiny cracks in a system that allow something extraordinary to slip through unnoticed. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, this story reminds us all that treasure is not always buried deep underground. Sometimes it's jingling in your pocket waiting to be recognized. So take another look at your change, pay attention to the details, and who knows, maybe your next penny will tell $1 million story too. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most incredible coin discoveries in modern history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time for more amazing stories about coins, currency, and the hidden riches that surround us every day.